Rival Sports Pod, covering the New York sports scene and behind the scenes, including the Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, New York Mets, and everything else in New York sports worth your precious time. And now here's Joe Pastor and Glenn Ferretti.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Rival Sports Pod. Week 3 is in the books, and we're starting to see some contenders and pretenders around the NFL. How are you doing, Glenn?
I mean, I think it's obvious that we have to start with the huge breaking news today that the Jets decided to sign Zach Wilson to replace Zach Wilson with the signing of Trevor Siemian to the practice squad. Like, most unbelievable thing. Like, out of all the guys that could have potentially come into town, when I saw Trevor Siemian come off the screen, I didn't think the day could get any worse. And it got a million times worth. That's why I'm representing the Joe Namath today, because even Broadway's Joe is sick of what he's seeing in New York, and I just can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you hear guys like Matt Ryan reaching out. Even Carson Wentz, I'm sure, would have been welcomed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all telling us to like go pound salt, that they want nothing to do with us. I mean, do you really think they wanted to walk into a team where everybody's fighting in week 3 on the sidelines? Like, we went from like this group of people that absolutely loved each other, couldn't wait to play with each other. 4 plays in, everybody absolutely hates each other. It's honestly worse than I could ever even imagine.
Yeah, you got Michael Carter yelling at the coach, having to be held back. Man, you're not good enough to be yelling at the coach, son.
Yeah, I know. The only thing I actually liked was his press conference where he was talking about just the emotion of the game and how, you know, they respect each other, but just 2 competitors going out of it and don't blow it out of proportion. I thought he handled itself well. Just like I give you shit about Diggs, Garrett Wilson clearly has had enough of Zach Wilson. I don't care what the guy has to say anymore. He needs somebody that could throw him the damn ball.
Well, yeah, and it's like, what are they going to say? I don't remember who it was, but they had someone on talking about he was traded from offensive lineman from New England to Cleveland, and they asked him in press, how does he feel? And he's like, well, I'm looking forward to bolstering the line. I'm excited to see what Charlie Fry could do. Kellen Winslow Jr. and wasn't Braylon Edwards, but whoever are 2, got all the potential in the world. And he goes, well, if I had to say what I really felt, I would say this offensive line is still terrible. Charlie Fry is not an NFL quarterback, and Kellen Winslow Jr. is too big of a punk to ever achieve, what he's capable of. But obviously you can't say that. So like these guys are in a really weird spot where, I mean, even Zach Wilson's got to know they're talking about him behind his back.
Yeah, I mean, he also has to know he's like not able to play quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone else was asking me about that earlier today. They were like, yeah, but Robert Saleh really seems to continuously support Zach Wilson in all the press conferences. I was like, what do you think he's saying at home, though, with his 12 kids on the couch? He's like, this guy freaking sucks, dude. We got to get another guy in here. I go, it's a big difference between standing in front of the New York media, what he really thinks. I was like, you think that guy's sitting home at night being like, all right, we got our guy here.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We can't be that stupid.
He's probably like, kids, don't get too attached to your schools and your friends because with this QB situation, we might have to move.
Yeah, no kidding. He's going to be renting another condo that fits like 14 people in another city pretty soon. I mean, that's what you guys get paid to do. I don't really care. They have completely effed up this entire situation. The fact that they did not bring in another quarterback right away, knowing that this was a strong possibility that this could have happened. And now we're sitting here going into week 4, 1-2, where we could have had a Carson Wentz. We could have had a Matt Ryan. I mean, I know Matt Ryan has now come out and said he wants nothing to do with the Jets, which you can't really blame him. But maybe he would have felt differently, the day after the game that Aaron Rodgers went out, and we could have got some guys in here to get some practice time. Now we're literally signing Siemian to the practice squad before the Chiefs game.
The initial report, too, out of Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz was their people reached out to the New York Jets and didn't really hear anything back. So
right.
to give credit to, yeah, they could have, done something. But on the other hand, too, and I mean, I understand why the Jets aren't in that situation, is like Zach Wilson hasn't played a whole lot of football. and between COVID and not getting a whole lot of time in college, he hasn't really had the time to grow and develop with all this intense
Dude, I
scrutiny.
completely disagree. You won't believe this, but he's played 24 NFL games.
Okay, that many.
Like when I honestly, even as a fan, he's been in 24 different games, and like that's what I'm saying is the leash has been so long for this guy. This is his third year in the league because he was pretty much put right in the game. Then last year, he was starting, and then Mike White had to relieve him. So yeah, he's definitely been the same guy. It's like we went with the osmosis theory that he's all of a sudden going to be a good quarterback because he learned from Aaron Rodgers for 4 months. It's crazy that suckers like us as fans actually believe that crap. It's just like Mac Jones. Everybody thinks that guy's Tom Brady. Mac Jones is not Tom Brady. Zach Wilson will never be Aaron Rodgers. I think that's like pretty obvious.
We were talking about in Hard Knocks how, of course they make everything look good when, he threw that pass and, Rodgers was telling him where to go. It was a nice pass, touchdown, or whatever the scenario was. But like, I don't know. I almost wonder that like if he wasn't in a place like New York and under that scrutiny, do things happen a little differently? Or is he just another one of these many top highly drafted guys that don't work out? Like Todd Maranovic's name came up the other day in some conversations with friends, and how many guys are there like that?
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell. I mean,
yeah,
dude, there's a lot of guys that could throw a football really far. There's very few that can play quarterback at really just at an average level, let alone be at like an elite level. I mean, he's not even a serviceable quarterback. I mean, they literally cannot take the handcuffs off. We signed another receiver, Mecole Hardman, in the offseason. And when Aaron Rodgers went down, his career basically ended with the Jets too, because we don't run any of the formations that have 4 receivers in there. Everything is just so watered down. It's absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm. And and I definitely get the argument that maybe he can't handle that, Zach Wilson. But like, how do you know unless you try it? And what do you have to lose if you're the Jets in doing that? Because clearly this is not working.
Well, I feel like I'm being coddled here. I thought literally you're going to come in here just saying how horrendous of a decision is that they just continue to have this bum on the team and he's absolutely trash. But wow, you're actually being pretty nice tonight.
Well, it's some ways it is. And anything I'm being a contrarian because like I think the Jets want to like bring them out in front of the courthouse and shoot them in front of a firing squad. And
yeah,
I'm just wondering to what extent does that make it worse? Would he be able to develop a little better if he's not constantly looking over his shoulders, having the New York fans, go after you constantly? So yeah, I am kind of being nice maybe to Zach Wilson, but like, I just wonder if being in New York, is that making things worse than it would be if, let's say, they were in, I don't know, Green Bay or Carolina or somewhere else, or maybe like LA where nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's competitive on any team. Yeah, maybe he's not getting the scrutiny like the New York media gives you, but how many guys get 24 games and they still are hanging on to him and not really making any changes?
Yeah, it is a testament to just like what goes on with the New York Jets franchise and how poorly they're ran. Along which case, it sounds like, you know what the New York Jets could use?
Oh boy.
A gift from Santa.
Oh God. Here we go again.
So we got something here for Santa, and this is to the New York Jets grounds crew. We have some paint thinner here. This must be to clean up all the footprints they left in the end zone. If you guys haven't seen that, apparently when they were painting the end zone, they walked through the white paint and there was white footprints going through the end zone, which was two things. It's like, A, how does that happen in the first place? This is not like a high school field. And B, how does someone not notice that and fix it? But I guess if you're not fixing your quarterback situation, how are you going to worry about some footprints on your field?
Yeah, the last thing I'm worried about is footprints in the end zone. The only guy that's actually seen the end zone for the Jets is Garrett Wilson outside of the punt return. There's literally nobody else has touched the end zone. So
really,
yeah. So that's interesting. We have 2 touchdowns. offensive touchdowns, both to Garrett Wilson, and the other one was Xavier Gibson. So nobody's getting too comfortable on those footprints in the end zone.
I guess somebody's got to get there if the players can't. Maybe the grounds crew's like, we're gonna find the end. Maybe it was like a path to like show them where the end zone is.
Yeah,
maybe they need to call up like Dora the Explorer to give them a map, like 50-yard line, red zone, end zone.
I think they said both teams didn't run a play inside the 20-yard line in that game. Like the fact they actually lose that game with that type of offense from the other team is just insane. It was really a winnable game with how pathetic he was playing. And I'm just so sick of the people when he has one good drive, we're supposed to hang on. Like the game is 60 minutes long. He has one good drive where he completes like 4 passes. I mean, dude, he was 18 of 36 in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we threw the ball 36 times at 150 yards passing. I mean,
and that gives, I mean, I lean to the side that this guy can't play quarterback. But again, it's just that kind of thinking that I wonder that also like just crushes this guy.
Are you saying can or can't?
I don't think he can. No.
He cannot. There's no chance that he can play football.
And it doesn't seem like he loves football enough or like has those leadership skills to be like the backup quarterback for his career. You know, even Nathan Peterman, who was probably the worst quarterback I've ever seen in the Bills, and that says a lot. He managed to hang around until just this training camp. He finally got released by the Chicago Bears.
Oh, he's definitely in Nathan Peterman, JP Lossman category.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's worked his way into that pretty quickly. But yeah, we're at the situation now where he's like cut when he gets pulled out of the game or released. Like, we're not in a situation where he could be a backup for the Jets anymore. Do you really think they could do that?
No. I mean, the only reason to keep him around is if it's a big salary cap hit. I remember seeing like the numbers to have cut him for this season would not have been feasible. But other than like if you're worrying about cap numbers, but at the same time, you might just have to take your medicine and cut him anyway, because just maybe having him around is just like soul crushing.
Yeah, or you just literally throw him in a corner, nobody talks to him, and if we get to the situation where we absolutely are down to like, I would put like Tim Boyle ahead of him at this point. I've never seen Tim Boyle throw a pass. Mm-hmm. Can't be as bad as Zach Wilson plays.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard he started football games. I thought I heard someone say he has a couple of NFL starts.
Yeah, he has 3 starts.
Yeah,
I mean, we literally signed Trevor Siemian, who is Zach Wilson. Like, dude, this is his stats. He threw for his last year where he actually played. He started 11 games. He had 2,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He averaged 6.5 yards a play. Like, he is Zach Wilson. Like, I don't even know what that phone call is like. Like, did Joe Douglas like accidentally call him Zach when he called him up? Like, it's crazy that this is where we landed. I mean, it doesn't even matter at that point. I sat here this weekend, and once the first quarter went by, I literally was like, it officially hit home that like Aaron Rodgers is not coming back. Like the first game after playing the Cowboys, you still had a little bit of hope because you're like, all right, we're 1-0. We have a hope. Got destroyed by the Cowboys. First half of the Patriots game, I'm like, it's over. Like there's no hope at all for this guy.
At what point do like you or Jet fans, you think, just not watch because it's just so like depressing?
Yeah, well, I watched the fourth quarter on my phone on the golf course, to be honest with you. So it already started.
Yeah.
And then if anything amazing happened, which almost actually did, except for Butterhands, Cobb can't make the Hail Mary catch at the end of the game, I would have went back and rewatched it. But dude, it doesn't matter. Like that's the saying. That's the state you're at, is that even if they win that game, it doesn't matter. Like we're not winning a consistent amount of games with the way he's playing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, especially too, because obviously you beat us the first time, but Bills look a lot better now, and the way Miami is playing.
I don't know how the hell that happened.
Well, Denver may be a bigger dumpster fire in some ways than the Jets because I mean they still have their quarterback that they put all their eggs in one basket for. At least the Jets have their draft picks, which maybe they'll waste, but obviously they did have a good draft with Wilson and those guys. But what a dumpster fire Denver is because they lost so many draft picks and that locked in that big contract in Russell Wilson. So it's like where do you go from there?
Yeah, no, they're an absolute disaster. We play them in 2 weeks after we play the Kansas City Swifties on Sunday night. So that should be an interesting shellacking we'll take. Especially I heard Taylor Swift might be in the stadium in New York as well. So I'm sure we'll get our butts down. They'll be targeting Travis all night long.
I'm sure she will be. And I don't mind all like the panning to the Taylor Swift things. I get it. Kids like it. People like her, obviously. But like it feels that like, you watch like sports highlight shows and like everyone tries to get their like Taylor Swift puns in there.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, but I mean, I don't know. Was their reactions a little over the top? I mean, how long can they really have known each other? I mean, she was going nuts like they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I think she's from that area or Tennessee or something like that.
Wasn't she? I thought she heard she was an Eagles fan.
Really?
Yeah, I heard she was an Eagles fan, but not like diehard.
Well, Kelsey did put the work in. I guess like he went to a concert to try to meet her and he made like a bracelet with his phone number on it. But like, because her manager's like, yeah, she doesn't talk to anybody before or after the shows to save her voice. So like he definitely put in the work. I mean, that's a creative, thing to do. And I'm sure everyone out there listening has, really been into someone and put in the work or just not knowing what to do. At least this guy came up with something that's, creative.
Yeah, I guess so. Hanging out with the family in the suite right away. That wasn't not too shabby for her either. But who the heck knows? This is what I mean. This is what my football season has come to. Now I'm concerned about which games Taylor Swift's going to. But I guess Aaron Rodgers kind of hinted on the McAfee show that he might be at the game as well on Sunday night. I'm sure he'll be calling the plays. Or maybe they'll make a special thing where he could tell Zach where to throw the ball right before it's going out.
Yeah.
So he hits the right guy.
They could like get a hold of New England and work on getting like illegal mic feeds into the quarterback's helmet.
Oh, yeah. Your guy Orlovsky, as much as like I can't stand the guy sometimes, he literally had a couple throws that he put up on Twitter today. And Garrett Wilson was just cooking his guy, and he doesn't even look his way. He's already predetermined like what he's doing with the ball.
I saw a lot of those.
We had one play where we had 7 guys blocking for him, 3-man route, and he checked it down like right off a 3-step drop. And it's just like, if you're not looking downfield or at least checking these guys when you got 7 blockers in front of you, like your confidence is just completely shot.
Yeah. And you're going to have 2 confident teams matching up against each other in Buffalo and Miami, what's certainly the game of the week, this week. And, the Bills got a tall order in slowing down Miami. I believe McDermott used some words like historic or something to talk about the Miami offense, which of course it was, putting up 70, choosing not to break the regular season record by kicking a field goal because he didn't want to embarrass them, which sounds kind of weird to me because it seems like when you put 70 on someone, like I don't want to embarrass them is out the window. When you're passing in the fourth quarter up that big, like I don't want to embarrass them is kind of out the window to me. So that's like mind boggling to me that was what he had for not, going for the record there.
I mean, I don't really care. It's the NFL, dude. I don't care about passing, running, whatever. I mean, they had their backups in. I mean, Mike White had a 67-yard touchdown in the game. Like, when's the last time you saw an NFL game where the backups got serious time in the game?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're not going to just run the clock for 15 minutes. Like, they were literally playing the entire fourth quarter, I think.
Yeah, so they're I don't have any problem with it either.
Yeah,
my point is, don't say you're worried about embarrassing people in the NFL.
No. Yeah, they shouldn't have been worried at all. I mean, Sean Payton, I mean, he's just eating his words.
Yep.
At 0-3 right now. But yeah, I mean, if you're in the NFL, you're getting paid. I don't care if they score 1,000 on you. Those guys just completely gave up. Those are the ones that should be embarrassed.
Yeah. And the thing about like Miami, like, and, and you're looking at this game as a Bills fan, and I took a quick look at the lines. Buffalo is favored by 2.5. And then if you look, Denver is actually the favorite this week. I mean, they're playing the Bears, but imagine this if you're like the Dolphins right now, right?
Yeah.
And you just beat a team by 50 points and you're the underdog, and the team that you crushed is the favorite.
Yeah. Well, Bills are at home, right?
Yeah.
But no, I think honestly, you're probably going to get a ton of people betting the Dolphins, where it seems like that's probably the sucker's bet. I would think actually, as much as I hate to say it, I think the Bills are probably the play in the game. I think everyone will be jumping on Miami just based on that performance. Really the first few weeks of the season, and they're getting points. Like, it's hard not to bet them, but usually in betting, if it's too good to be true, it means it usually is. I would probably take the Bills at home -2.5.
Oh wow, that's I'm glad we got this on tape. But
Well, it has nothing to do with the Bills. It just
Yeah.
it's a more of a fishy line scenario.
yeah. Bills have been playing well though. They've cleaned up a lot of the things, like you saw, like Josh running and then getting the first down and sliding
Yeah.
immediately and being, a little smarter there. Again, the Bills are continuing to run the football well. They're still a passing team, which I like. We all know my feelings on trying to be a running team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with the way they're putting 6 guys in the box, let's make them pay. Cook is averaging, I think, almost 7 yards a carry. So I mean, bring it on. If you're gonna, put 6 guys in the box, and it's working.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can run the ball when you actually have a quarterback that can pass. I think I mean, at least for me, from an outsider of the Bills, the biggest story is, McDermott calling the defense now, and how well they played in that game and cleaned it up after the first game against the Jets. That's I think they have 9 sacks in the game this past week. I mean, that's tough to do, and they don't even have Von Miller, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so.
And it's guys that are question marks. Like a big question mark we talked about in the preseason was, okay, who's going to take Tremaine Edmonds' spot? I said I wish they did not extend Oliver. They bring in Leonard Floyd. I said I would have rather if they were going to spend it on I would have rather they used it on offense. If you're going to spend it on defense, I would have rather you kept Tremaine Edmonds. But Terrell Bernard had an interception and 2 sacks. Epenesa's been pressuring the quarterback. He had one of those interceptions where he blocks the ball himself and then intercepts it, returned it, pick 6. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited about the Bills' defense. Washington does hold on to the ball a lot. A lot of those sacks came after holding it for about 4 seconds, and Tua gets rid of it in about 2.5. But the Bills have never had a problem getting to Tua. We've actually knocked him out of every game we've played. I don't wish harm on him.
Okay.
Well, especially him. He seems like a good dude.
Oh, you're such a nice guy. You don't wish any harm.
No, I don't want.
I'm
not
sure
saying,
you wouldn't mind playing against Skylar Thompson again, or whoever the hell their backup is.
Yeah, I think it is Skylar, because I don't think Bridgewater's there anymore, is he?
No.
But yeah, we've had no problem doing that, but it certainly is a big thing. And another big decision McDermott has is, what are you going to do with Kaiir Elam? He was your number 1 draft pick in 2022. He hasn't dressed for the first 2 games. But if you look at Pro Football Focus, of all the Bills corners, he ranks number 1 in efficiency against Miami receivers. And in the entire NFL, he ranks number 3 behind only Asante Samuel Jr. and Patrick Surtain. I guess the reason the Bills don't play him is he's a man coverage guy, and he doesn't seem to grasp the zone defense as well as the other people do. He's from Florida, and Florida just out athletes everybody. But I wonder at what point it's, again, you drafted the guy, he plays good against Miami. Is he going to suit up?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like their way of saying, like, you're not one of the best corners to play in the game if he's not even he hasn't dressed in any of the games
this season. No.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would be shocked if he winds up on the field this weekend. Yeah. I mean, they have no injuries or anything, right?
No, but he's your number 1, and he did a great job. Like, without him, they lose that playoff game to Skylar Thompson. He made a lot of plays in that game.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I do understand it because again, it's the whole zone versus man thing. McDermott is a big preparation and practice guy, and I'm sure doing like probably the zone coverage practices and stuff, I'm sure he looks like crap. And Bernard, who they drafted in the 6th round, looks same year, same draft, looks better than he does playing the zone. But like, at what point when you play a team like Miami that I think has the top 6 fastest plays recorded this season,
Yep.
do you not think I got to go to my athletes?
Yeah. And can you play man against those guys if they're that fast? We play a ton of zone as well. It's what got us cooked for a touchdown. Miscommunication on the zone. But yeah, I mean, you're playing man to man against those guys. I'm not sure how many guys can D up Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and all these guys man to man. I mean, that's quite a task. He might have to play a lot of zone.
Yeah.
Well, you saw what New England did.
I guess what I'm
New
saying,
England played like an umbrella defense the whole game.
they might. Isn't that what somebody did that?
Yeah, that was New England just the previous week.
Yeah, New England did that. Yeah.
So I mean, and then they said, beat us by the short passes, which they wound up doing, but it was a much closer game. And Mostert, had a short yard. He had a good amount of yards, but they were kind of keeping him in check. They were shortening the game. I would be shocked if the Bills don't do that. I mean, you can't let those guys get behind you.
And it's a crazy thing. Like some of the things I'm hearing myself say and think, like, do the Bills need to try to control the clock and run the football to keep Tua off the field? Which was what I hated, because years of doing that with like Tyrod Taylor leads to mediocrity. But like, is that maybe the solution, playing a defense like Miami?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, can they beat Miami in a track race? Like, I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion that they will. I mean, these guys, they scored on almost every possession. Yeah. I mean, I know it's Denver, but it's still the NFL, and scoring on every possession is not easy. I don't care who you're playing.
I mean, and Denver was at least supposed to have a good defense,
Yeah, well, that story's gone. Hopefully you didn't have them in fantasy.
Yeah, right. Like negative points there, I would think.
Yeah, I would say probably. So yeah, it's an interesting. Yeah, it's a different type of game. I think Buffalo's usually thinking about going in and just outscoring the opponent, even if they don't play it. But they've been playing good defense lately. So yeah, maybe they try to keep the score a little bit lower. It's going to be tough. I mean, I hate to say it, they look really, really good, Miami right now.
Yeah, they do. It's game of the week. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, because even the whole like Washington game, it was like, even though it was 16-0 at the half, and was Matt Ryan actually was saying, "Oh, it's a 2-score game."
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that means they actually score twice and actually get 2 2-point conversions. So a lot needs to happen for it to be a 2-score game like that, Matt. Like, at no point when it was 16-0 did I feel that like Washington had a shot.
Yeah.
I was concerned going in with how good Washington's defensive line is, but once that game started,
yeah, it was over quickly. I mean, I don't know, it was boring to watch for a non-football fan, but there was a lot of games like that this week. Kansas City, obviously, Miami, just complete blowouts.
Yeah.
Trying to think of really the other. I mean, yeah, San Fran blew out the Giants on Thursday night. It wasn't a lot of great games. The only other name that's kind of come up for the Jets has been Kirk Cousins. Obviously with the Vikings falling to 0-3, that would be crazy, just with all the hoopla around the Jets trying to go after Kirk Cousins when he was in free agency, and then he basically chose Minnesota over the Jets, and if he were to work his way back, but I know he does have a no trade clause, so he could veto it again, give us the double whammy.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to walk into that situation again, like what you're saying, how people are a little bit of a toxic situation? Does he want that? Because he's also a big family guy too. So like, how eager would he be to abruptly uproot his family and move, or live away from home and be away from his family?
This guy, he's like the greatest family guy. What if like something bad actually came out about what like Kirk Cousins did? Like, it would be, people would be so shocked. I saw a thing on Twitter when he was walking into the game. The QBs always have like their sick outfits on, and they're all dripped out.
Mhm.
and they said Kirk Cousins showing up at his latest Kohl's purchase.
Yep. He's proud of it too. He's like, yeah, my wife shops for me at Kohl's. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, he loves it. But man, it's like he is, and the best thing is he feeds into it, so he absolutely like loves the weird attention I think that he gets on that stuff.
Yeah, he does. I think he does want to be known. Yeah, he wants to be known for that, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, not that anything's wrong with Kohl's, but yeah, maybe drip yourself
Yeah.
up a little bit. I mean, you did
Yeah.
rock those chains for a while.
I mean, Kohl's is fine for us,
Yeah,
but who knows? Maybe that's how you stay grounded and don't get involved in all this trouble that some of the other guys, tend to be in. I mean,
I
even
know.
Josh Allen, who's the good guy. There were those stories about him and his girlfriend cheating on each other
Stories.
and stuff like that. Well, I mean, who knows what's true and what's
Eh,
not? But
or what you want to
little
believe.
little joke for you. Why should Josh Allen date a
Mm.
New England Patriots fan?
Oh boy, I don't know. Did I hear this one? I have no idea.
Because the Patriots don't care if you cheat.
And that's funny.
Yeah,
Where'd you hear that one?
I may have told it to you, but yeah, but again, so like maybe that's what keeps him, grounded, from doing stuff like that, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like Hard Knocks, maybe Netflix paints a little bit of a nice picture of him all the way around. He's the wholesome guy. Mahomes was the cool guy,
yeah,
and then what's his face there?
Mariota,
Mariota was the disgruntled cut guy.
yeah.
So we'll see what
I mean,
what
Kirk Cousins didn't even curse on camera when he got like a ember burned his favorite shirt at the campfire.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like, right? Most people are gonna be like, "Oh, my shirt,"
Yeah.
if it's your favorent shirt, and
This
especially
guy-
if you're as frugal as he is.
Yeah, that guy's got the most impressive like trophy room ever.
Yeah,
He still got his little spot for his Super Bowl trophy. I'm not sure he's any closer today than he was when he filmed that episode.
yeah. How bad does he want to fill that?
I know.
Have you ever burnt any of your favorite clothes at the campfire?
That's a good question. I don't really think so, but I might start. I might start by burning every piece of Jets attire that I have. I'm not a big like jersey guy often. I don't even know why I have this one. This is probably the first time I've worn it. I've owned it for like 11 years. But after Broadway Joe's comments, I thought it would be appropriate. But yeah, I don't really have a lot. But my son has a Zach Wilson jersey. Maybe he'll donate that one to the campfire. It is getting to be football cold weather here in upstate New York, so I'll probably get some campfires going.
Yeah, it is. Gets a bit chilly at night, man. Even up in the booth, working some soccer games late at night, it gets a little chilly up there these days.
Are you still calling football games too, or no?
Yeah, we got one coming up this weekend. So yeah,
Do
do that, some
Do you go
soccer.
crazy with your calls, or are you just like steady?
Oh, I
Eddie?
get into it. I got that school spirit,
You do?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Do you have a first down call?
Yeah,
What is it?
it's kind of like an Ed Hockey-lian, first down.
Look at that. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little more, but also there's emotion too. Like now I'm just doing it, first down. I'm not like, yeah, so it's a kid, making the big first down. You're happy your team got a first down. You're happy for that kid, that made the big play. You get a little more excitement for that. Same thing like when the soccer team scores a goal, I give it a good goal. Like I can't remember his name, that Spanish announcer that really screams it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what
the
you
opposing
do?
team hates it.
Is that what you do?
Oh yeah,
You should record some of them. That'd be great.
I will for sure.
Do you or is the team any good this year?
Football,
Yeah.
they won last week. They're definitely improved. There's a new coach. They've gotten better. Yeah, so I'm happy for them. They seem to be headed in a good direction. So some change is sometimes good.
We should
not
get
gonna
you
s-
out there reffing games.
I don't know if I'd want to ref, football. There's just too much like people yelling at you. Like I'll do softball because, people do sometimes get upset. But again, it's kind of like, managing a classroom. I can kind of manage a sports field.
Right.
But I think like football, and particularly, I think the worst personally is basketball. Like the abuse and yelling that basketball officials take is terrible. I would probably do football before I would do basketball. That's for sure.
Yeah, because it's like you could call a foul on almost every play if you wanted to, and people are always just screaming and yelling about it.
The coach wants to take. Coaches always want clarification, and the other thing too, it's allowed. Because one thing I know, like in my brief stint coaching volleyball, there's like some subbing rules. They got to sub either in front or behind of the line. And I told the kid right before they went in, hey, you got to go in front of the line. And then they went in and they did the exact opposite, and we got penalized. So I just like threw the clipboard over my head, and I got a red card for it.
They have that
I
in
didn't even say
volleyball?
anything. And I didn't like literally like throw it like, like chuck it. I was just like, oh.
I never even heard of a red card in volleyball.
I got one. I got one. And I was like, wow, that's a red card. But no one says anything in high school volleyball to the officials because again, they don't allow it. So it's like, does this happen with, basketball because it's allowed?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not really sure. I know there's just a big, huge rep shortage. So a guy like you, I could see out there grinding it away on a Thursday and Friday night lights. Get some extra cash.
Yeah, I mean, hey, anything will happen. I would have never have thought I would have been a softball official,
Right.
You never know where life's going to take you.
I think those are called umpires, but you could call them official.
We're officials.
Oh, is it official? I thought it would be. It's like the guy calling him like a softball referee.
So I think you would say umpire like specifically, but like we are called officials like when we talk to each other, under certain banners, when we fill out a timesheet, you're filling out the quote unquote officials timesheet.
The official lineup card.
Yeah, and we'll refer amongst ourselves. We'll refer to it as officiating or as we're officials. But I guess they're both interchangeable because I've heard people say we're umpiring together or we're officiating. So I think they're interchangeable. I don't think it's the quite thing as saying you're refereeing.
Probably
umpire
not.
Referee.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on to week 4, which pretty much is like Groundhog's Day for me at this point. So I don't really have that much to be excited about. You guys obviously are still playing meaningful football for a long time. So wish I was you guys right now, but sucks to be us.
Yeah. Yeah. Go Bills.
Yep. All right. We'll talk next week and have a good one, big guy.
All right, man. See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Rival Sports Pod. Please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also email us at rivalsportspod@gmail.com with any topics, ideas, or questions.